Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite games in the rhythm genre, Beat Saber. Now, a lot of people may know this game since it's quite popular in the rhythm game genre. It's a pretty big game about slicing cubes to the beat of rhythm, which is unusually fun. Now, I cannot play this game, so I just put some bootleg Rec Room gameplay in the background. And I'll put some other gameplay in the background too while I talk about this. Such as Minecraft, Fortnite, or whatever the hell this shit is, and Rec Room, but we'll just save that for right now, since it's playing on the screen right now, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, so if you guys watch my channel, you know I'm not very good of a talker. I don't like talking, especially when it's to other people I do not know. I'm very antisocial, if you didn't know. I just don't like talking. But if it's behind the screen, then I know I'm safe and no one can hurt me, so I can just talk freely. Anyway, enough said, let's get into the point of this video. I'm going to be making some lore for Beat Saber since I tried searching up some and there seems to be none. Oh, so if I lag sometimes in the Rec Room video in the background, then that's... can't really control that. Because that's just how my Rec Room is built. It's just... it built different, though. Anyway. So basically, I just decided to make some Rec Room... I mean Beat Saber. For God's sake, I have the worst grammar in the entire universe. Anyway... basically, I'm just going to be making this up as I go, so if there's some twists and turns or some things that don't make sense, then that's because I'm just making this up as I go, and I'm trying my best, okay? And if the story is bad, then just know that it was never meant to be good or bad. It was just like some sort of lore, or just some lore for the game. Anyway, I guess let's get into this. Right, so first off, let's just get into the introduction of the story. Basically, there's this kid. He's not a kid. Got freaking. So there's this man whose name is Caleb. And that's totally not the name I'm using because it's one of the name of my old classmates out of my school. It's totally not. You know, it's totally not. Anyway, enough said. Caleb is a man who has a wife and 2 kids. He lives in a house that's pretty decent and pretty nice. They have good savings and they live quite a peaceful life. Inside the house, it's kind of chaotic sometimes with the kids running around as, you know, kids do. But it's sort of peaceful though. Anyway, let's get on to the real story. Basically, one afternoon on an unknown day in, I think, about 2016 or 2017. I think that's around when Beat Saber was made. Caleb decides to go on his PS4 and play some games. Obviously, as he got his new VR, he decided that he would play on it. Because, obviously, VR is really revolutionary and it's really cool. As he got into the VR, he went through his game catalog to find some VR games to play, because obviously, you need some games to play if you're going to play on VR, obviously. And while he was searching through his catalog, he found something weird. He found a sort of weird game that wasn't on his console before he got the VR. And once he started playing on it, it just appeared. The game was titled Beat Slicer. This title is a sort of early beta of Beat Saber. And that's why it's titled this. Anyway, Caleb thought nothing of this, even though it was kind of weird that this unknown game just showed up on his catalog. Though he did think a bit about it, he might have thought he got hacked or something, or he just got early beta to a game. Nevertheless, he decided he would try it out, because, well, if there's a game on your console that just appears out of nowhere, You obviously fucking play it. Anyway, though, this was not a very good idea. This may have been one of, if not the worst idea he's possibly made in his life. Once he entered the game, he put on his VR headset, and he looked around. It was the old Beat Saber sort of lobby that had the fireworks from above and everything. Though, something seemed off. When he entered the game and he played the first track, he noticed something. It felt like a strange surrealness, like the game he was playing, he was actually in. It was weird to him, but he decided to ignore it. He then went along and decided to play one of the tutorial levels, or also known as the easy level. I like to call them the tutorial levels because they're really easy. And he ended up, after a few tries, and when I mean a few tries, I mean like probably 30, ended up finally completing the level. This made him very happy since it took a lot of tries, and anything that takes a lot of tries to do and you finally do is quite the achievement. So then he decided to do some of the other difficulties. He slowly got used to the game, and he started to get better and better. So it started to get late, and he decided that he would get off. Though when he reached to get his headset, he felt nothing. He thought of this as to be nothing, but he started feeling on his face. He could actually feel his face. This wasn't a game. This was real life. He started getting scared. How is he in the game? How did he get there? Who knows? When he looked around, he noticed that his entire body was in the game too. This was very strange. And then he tried to get out of bounds to try and see if there was anything left, but when he tried to get out of the square, an icon appeared that says, out of play area. This sort of unnerved him, and it was sort of frightening that he was just in an enclosed space, and the only thing he could do was play levels. He tried playing one of the levels, and it worked. Well, he missed a few notes, and he could actually feel the notes hitting him, as if they were real also. This was very frightening. He was in an unknown place, with no origin, and he didn't know what to do. He then looked around, trying to find some sort of exit, when he heard a voice. The voice said, "Hello, Caleb." Caleb immediately got frightened by this. How did the game know his name? Well, if this was the game, anyway. The voice then said, "No need to be frightened. We know who you are. You're safe here." Still frightened, Caleb decided to say, "Where am I?" As if in any sort of movie people would do, or if you're in any unknown situation, you would probably say that. Anyway, the person then replied with, "You are in a testing chamber for a game or a test that we created. We were supposed to give this copy to our corporate to show them the progress that we made, but it seems to have gotten to you instead. Though we can't have you getting this info out because obviously the game isn't finished, so we decided to transport here." Transport you here? Jesus Christ, my speaking skills are very bad. Anyway, Caleb then got frightened. Did he just get kidnapped by a game? He couldn't understand the situation of what was going on, and he started to panic. As if he wasn't panicking anyway. He then asked the voice, "How did this game get to me?" The voice replied with, "They don't know." Caleb was confused on who was they. He then asked, "Who is they?" Obviously. And then the voice then replied with, origin. Our group name. Or our corp name. Caleb was confused on who Origin was, or who they were. He then asked, what is Origin? The voice then replied with, Origin is our company. The game who made... The people who made this game. It's quite a big company with a lot of people in it. Though, half of those people aren't really supposed to be there. This frightened Caleb. Was he in some sort of experiments on people? I meant to say, in a lab doing experiments on people. And also, I now realize that my mic quality was absolutely garbage, so I'm going to be trying to fix that. Give me a moment to process that, please. Okay, so I found an appropriate sounding mic, so this should do well. Anyway, let's get back into the story. As Caleb sat there, no, he did. I need to recap myself, bro. I've been spending so much time trying to fix my mic. I can't even remember the story, bro. He asked if this was some sort of lab. The voice replied with, you could say it is. You could say it is? What do you mean? Caleb said. Well, it's more of a testing lab. It isn't exactly the sort of lab that would do experiments on people, but you could say this is an experiment. The voice replied. What? Caleb was confused. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know why he was here. So he was just having a hard time processing this entire thing. He decided to sit down and try to process it. Why are you sitting down? After all, you have another test to do. The voice replied. Another test? What other test? There was even a first one? Caleb replied. Oh, you just did the first test. You played our game. It seemed to be very enjoyable. You seem to be having fun. So, now we're gonna need you to test out the higher difficulties. The voice replied. What difficulties? Suddenly, on the page for the difficulties, a new difficulty appeared. The difficulty was titled Expert Plus. The only difficulties that were in the game were easy, normal, hard, and expert. What was this new difficulty? Was it harder than expert? It seemed to be, Caleb wondered. The voice then said, we're gonna need you to play this new difficulty because we need to gather data for a new game to launch. If the game's not good, then we can't launch it, so we're gonna need some opinions. The voice said, why would I ever do anything for you? Are you even the person who brought me here? I can't speak. I just lost my train of freaking thought. Are you the person that brought me here? Anyway? Why would I do anything for you if you were? Caleb said. The voice then said, well, if you don't cooperate, then I guess you won't be seeing your family then. The voice then said, Caleb then stood in shock. How did this person know he had a family? Caleb hoped that he didn't know about his wife and kids, but then the voice said something frightening. After all, we wouldn't want something happening to your little wife and kids, would we? Caleb then stood there, scared. He didn't know what to do. This was like a hostage situation. Either do what they say, or someone gets hurt. Caleb then stood there, trying to process what happened. And then, after a while of thinking, he decided to just cooperate with the voice. He pointed his hand at the difficult. I can't speak! He pointed his hand at the difficulty he wanted to use, which was Expert Plus. He then clicked on it. And then he was in the level. The level was titled Beta Test. It was the only level that was there, so he just played it. The level had no music. It was just notes flying at him with speed. That was quite incredible. So he was able to get through it somehow. I say, I'm impressed. You're quite skilled, the voice said. I don't need your compliments, Caleb said, sounding very angry at what was going on. The voice then replied with, if you say so. Alright, now that we've tested our new difficulty, I guess you could take a break now. Our testing will begin tomorrow. This was just a sort of tutorial to our testing, you could say. The voice said as they chuckled. Anyway, you could play some of the levels in your free time, if you'd like. But I'd recommend doing so because, well, you can get your practice in, and the test will probably take less longer. The voice then said, and then a short beep was heard. Then there was a huge silence. Caleb wondered where the voice was, if the voice was even there anyway. Caleb then said, are you still there? There was no response. He then sat there, wondering how he'd gotten in this situation just by playing one game. He wondered if he could go back in time and maybe stop himself from playing this game entirely. He would be with his kids, his family, his wife. He wouldn't have to deal with this. He'd probably be eating dinner by now. But here he was, sitting in a very lit, sort of simulation-like world. He was stuck here. These thoughts filled his head as he slowly gave up hope in trying to escape. And then, out of the silence, he heard something. Hello? Is anyone here? Are you still sane? A voice said, coming from the speaker above. Caleb was somewhat half asleep, and once he heard the voice, it woke him fully up. Who's there? Caleb said, sounding scared of what he might go through. Oh, you're here. Okay, good. Okay, you need to listen up now. This is not a good place. You are going to be tested on by these people. They may seem pretty innocent, but they can do a lot of harm. They're using people, like you, to test their game. They don't even ask, they just take people, using this technology that's revolutionary. They don't know how they got it, only the corporate knows. But all they know is that they're trying to keep people here, and that they're testing a game. The game is named Beat Slasher. You probably know this by now. But, they just renamed it to Beat Saber. What a strange name. Kinda reminds me of Star Wars. But enough said. Just know you can trust me, okay? My name's Mike. And just know you're safe. For now. Mike said, coming from the voice, his voice. I can't fucking speak! Mike said as his voice echoed through the cell, or the game. Caleb was quite confused. What was happening? So he was very skeptical and trusting this voice. This was just another trap, another trick. He was just gonna end up somewhere worse. His thoughts pulled at his head, and then he asked the voice, "How can I trust you? I already got tricked by a game. A game. You think my trust was gonna be good after that?" Caleb said, sounding quite annoyed. The voice then replied with, "I know it's hard to trust someone after you've just got tricked by something, but trust me, I'm not gonna put you in any more harm." Mike then said, "What? But how are you here, though? Isn't this place supposed to be some sort of facility? Do you work here?" Caleb then asked, being confused by that. "Oh, I hacked in." Oh, I can't fucking speak for God's. I hacked into the system. It was quite easy to, actually, so... Caleb was confused. How can someone just hack into a system that easily? I must be really trained. Why? They must be a really trained hacker to be able to do that. After all, this place did seem quite high-tech. Especially since they had just transferred him to here, using just a video game. He up then asked, "Well, Mr. Mike, your name was. How do I get out of here?" Hip then asked. "Simple, you can't. At least not right now," Mike then said as his voice got quiet. "What? Why? Why?" Caleb began to become hopeless. He thought he'd never escape from here. Mike then said, Hey, calm down. There's still a way to get out. You have to wait for a certain day to come. Specifically, the release date of the game, which seemed to be, I think, about 2017. "I have to wait a whole fucking year?" Caleb said. He sounded very mad. "Hey, chill. Sadly, yes, you do. But once the release date comes, you'll be fine, okay? Just hang in until the release date, and then we can find a way to get you out, okay?" Mike said, reassuring Caleb. "Fine. I don't fucking care anymore," Caleb said as he was still annoyed by the news. "Alright, I guess I'll leave you be. You sound quite mad. I'll get you info on the plan once it's created. We're still making it already. I'm just reassuring the experiments that we'll be getting out of here. There's others?" Caleb said as he... I lost my train of thought once fucking more, Caleb said as he stood there. "Does that mean that there's other people here?" Caleb then asked. "Sadly, yes, there is other people here," Mike then said, sounding a bit sad. Why? Why are they doing this? Can't you just hire testers?" Caleb then asked. "Well, yes, they technically could, but... well... I guess they just didn't choose that approach. I don't really have an answer for this," Mike then said, sounding quite confused. "Oh. Well, then. Can you tell me one thing? Are they lying to me about my family? Are they still fine?" Caleb then asked. Mike then went silent for a few seconds. Caleb got worried that something might have happened to him. Mike, are you still there? Caleb asked. Yes, I'm still here. Just lost in thought, that's all. Mike then said, and then he'd after... Why? For God's sake, why? Okay, so I reached the project clip limit, so I can't just cut the audio every time I rage at my voice for being so bad at speaking. So there's that. So anyway, I'm just gonna have to keep on recording and recording until, well, the video ends. So anyway, let's get back into that. Mike then decided to tell Caleb the very sad truth. Sorry to say this, but they're lying to you. I was a victim once. They told me I would see my family once more. Well, guess what? Second I got out of there, there's nothing. I escaped. They didn't let me out. But there's nothing left. They may have just took them because I left, but before they even found out, they were gone. That's when I became filled with rage and I decided I've had enough of this crap. I just then decided that ever since then I helped you escape from this hell. Caleb then said sadly. But not Caleb, fucking Mike. I'm sorry for that. Caleb then said, sounding a bit sad and worried for Mike. It's cool. Anyway, I gotta go now. There's some guards coming. If they see me, then, well, I'm gonna be like you. So, see ya. Mike then said, and then a sort of more silent but hearable beep was heard. And then it was just silence. Caleb was then there, sitting alone. He didn't know what to do. There's no one to talk to, nothing to do. All he could do was either play the game that he had now come to hate, or just sit there. He decided to just play the game to pass time. It was still kind of fun, but he still despised it for what it had done to him. Then it started to get dark. This was notable because the game started to get a bit dark, and the notes started to glow more. I then decided to just lay on the ground and rest. And then it was the next day. It was an unknown time, but Caleb was still notable that it was day. Still noted that it was day. He got up from the floor that was oddly comfortable to sleep on, and he then got back into the game. He didn't know if there was any sort of shower source or any food source that was going to come to him, but if it did, well, he'd use it. He then waited a bit, but then a sort of noise was heard. It sounded like a knock. And then a plate with some sort of prison-like food came right in front of him. It just appeared. And then the knock stopped. Caleb decided to eat food since it was probably the only thing he's gonna get for the day. Then he continued with playing. So he came to the conclusion that there was no shower source. He's probably just gonna end up stinking. This was quite sad, but he'd just have to deal with it. While he was playing the game, he noticed some notable changes. Mostly, every time he hit the blocks, it would make a sort of explosion. A small one that was less noticeable to people who weren't paying attention. He decided to discard it since it was just some sort of it was probably some sort of update to the game. And he just continued playing. And then he heard the small, like, beep again. Hello there, the unknown voice said. You again? Caleb said softly. Yes, it is me again. It seems that we have some new updates that we need to test. Some new game modes. Game modes? Caleb asked. Yes, game modes. I can't. Oh my fucking god, bro. Why? And then on the screen right beside him, where all of the notable game modes were. By the way, I call them game modes. I know they're just add-ons or something. I just called them game modes, by the way. A new game mode popped up. It was called Then Mode. It's interesting. What was Then Mode? He clicked on it, and he clicked on another level, which was a test level. And there was no notes. It was just music and lights. I found this to be quite peaceful, since all you had for yesterday and today were just notes and flashing lights. You seem to like it? Well, I guess that's good. The voice said. It doesn't mean I like what you're doing. I just like this game mode. That's it. Caleb then said, sounding a bit annoyed by the voice's presence. Well then, I guess I'll let you be then. Good day. The voice then said, and a loud beep was heard. Then there was another silence. Caleb then spent like a bit of time inside of this Zen mode like place. It was quite peaceful. After a few minutes, a much smaller beep was heard. Again, it was Mike. Hey, how you doing? Mike asked. Fine, Caleb said, sounding a bit annoyed, but seemingly fine. Bad mood? Caleb asked. What other mood could I be in this situation? And Caleb said. Respectable. Anyway. Can you tell the time? Caleb asked. No, I can't really. Wait, not Mike. I mean, Mike asked, can you tell the time? Can you tell the time? Caleb then replied with, yeah, I sorta can. Okay then. Well, how can you tell the time? Mike asked. By the lights in here? Caleb then replied with, oh, okay. Okay, hold up, let me just get the clip to be in a higher, let me just get a new clip. Alright, so, I'm back, and I meant to say I was going to get a new clip, like this one that I'm showing on screen right now, which is my Easy Life 02 reaction. So, there might be some commentary. I hope you guys don't mind that. But, anyway, I think I might actually end it here, since this video is actually a bit long. So, yes, I probably will make a part 2 if people like it, if you like the story. But I don't think it will get that popular. But, whatever, I'm just doing this for fun. But anyway, See you guys.